All right, welcome back. This is a new one for me, but admittedly probably not new for you. Some rando on the internet talking about a movie they just saw. But hey, I'm this rando, and this rando often has a different perspective. So as one rando to another, nice to meet you. If it's your first time here, I talk about various media, including films, music videos, cartoons, and lots of other things. I encourage you to subscribe and check me out. Check out my channel. Feel free to check me out too, I guess. I don't mind. I just saw Marvel's Thunderbolts, and I have both thoughts and feelings. Yes, contrary to popular belief, I am indeed a human being.
Who are you?
I'm also very confused at how Marvel went and took my advice on a video that I'm just about to publish in the past when they wrote, directed, and filmed this movie. So, thanks for listening to me in hindsight from the future. Present me is very grateful and temporarily very confused. I highly recommend you watch my upcoming video. It will further highlight some of the things I'm about to discuss. This movie is, in my opinion, very much a step in the right direction for Marvel. Marvel finally gave us a story with consequences, real darkness, and actually funny humor. I legitimately found myself laughing out loud several times here, and even tearing up at other times. When it was funny, it was on. When it was serious, it didn't immediately undercut that with a forced bit of levity. That alone is praiseworthy. One of the strongest moments for me in this film was Bob, or Sentry, beating the crap out of Dark Bob, thinking anger would free him and his friends. Story so far: Bob has taken the entirety of what looks like Lower Manhattan into some dark realm. Elena follows Bob into the realm to try and help him, and the rest of her motley crew of misfits follow suit. Bob is up against a dark version of himself, and he thinks a show of power is what's going to win against the darkness within. It doesn't. It pushes him further away, which we see physically represented by distance literally separating him from his friends. Lashing out in anger doesn't make you feel better. It can release some endorphins and make you feel something, but it truly pushes everyone away and doesn't make you feel any better about yourself in the end. It can further exacerbate problems of anger and rage, and it does nothing to alleviate feelings of self-loathing that often accompanies depression. Marvel. Mwah. Chef's kiss. I also like that they don't call it darkness, but instead refer to it as the void. That's a nice change from the cliche of being in a dark place, and instead being in the void. Depression isn't simply you sitting in a bit of shade. It's a nothingness that pulls you in, and if you aren't careful, it pulls in others as well. From a visual point of view, at one point it looks like he poofs people out of existence, a truly creepy as hell visual, but in fact, he's sending them to the void, which, if you've ever seen Lucifer, it's basically a form of hell loop where the person trapped within is tortured by a memory of an extremely traumatic or guilt-inducing event. That is how depression can feel. Like you've been pulled out of existence to live in this liminal space where you are constantly tortured by your intrusive thoughts, and for some people, literal imagery. What brings him back? People. I love that the thing that saves the day is literally a person hugging him and saying, "I'm here," and other friends following suit. I also love that in the end, he's not just magically 100% better. In fact, it is far more confusing and far more worrisome despite things being generally wrapped up. In the end, he's not better, but he's specifically not alone. Again, nicely done. Also, early on, there's a point where Bob asks Elena how you deal with things that put you in the void. She initially responds with you just sort of shove it deep, deep down. Later on in the film, she confesses that holding it in is definitely not the best way, and says the only true way is to let it out and talk about it. It is the only way to lighten that load. Again, Marvel, not only saying it, but showing it, with her literally telling her father exactly how she's feeling, putting everything on the table, and ultimately feeling better for having done that. Geez, you managed to get so many things right in this film. Things that didn't quite land. For one thing, after all the dust settles, you find he's lost his memory about everything that happened. Now, is this a sort of coping mechanism from dealing with being in the void, or is this them trying to pull from the Moon Knight playbook? We'll have to wait and see. Other things I felt could have been a bit stronger. Captain Douche wasn't great, but they are all terribly flawed human beings, so him acting as a sort of Captain America for the reject Avengers actually does sit well with me given what we know about him. I mean, this guy has made some pretty bad mistakes, but deep down you can see he wrestled with it and wants to change. The girl that can phase in and out, she was good for some snarky lines, but overall I felt her character was just a little flat. Just there to sort of hate flirt with Captain Douche and conveniently help out when her powers weren't being neutralized by some nice speakers. Bucky also fell flat for me. He just seemed a bit too brooding and one-dimensional. We have enough of that here. He just sort of blended into the background. Honestly, if you took him out, not much would have changed for the film. His presence didn't wow me is all I'm saying. Standout performances came in the form of a legacy Pullman. Yep, none other than the son of our greatest president during an alien invasion and guy who saved the princess from the evil Dark Helmet. I thought he did a really good job here, and boy, doesn't he look just like his dad. Elena was the emotional through line for this film. Her scenes were just the right mixture of heartwarming and heartbreaking. Her interactions with her father were so real and so honest. The self-serving, ever-corruptible, grandiose with a smug sense of superiority politician who managed to escape any and all consequences for their actions was extremely apropos, and yet we get at least the tiniest, teensiest bit of catharsis as Elena leans in to tell her, "We own you now," or something to that effect. What a tasty morsel. So, there were moments of this film that I felt were deeply familiar. I couldn't quite put my finger on why I felt that way until, well, there's a scene where Bob, aka Sentry, comes gliding down in midair with a somewhat smug look on his face in a large boardroom being controlled and manipulated by a non-powered ordinary person but who has extensive political and financial power. Sound familiar? There's a moment when he refers to himself as a god, and it just solidifies that this show is taking cues quite heavily from The Boys. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I will soon have gone on record saying that Marvel needs to lean into realism a little bit more. And what is more realistic than examining what it might be like to give godlike powers to a flawed human with some severe mental issues? I specifically juxtapose Marvel with The Boys, showing that Marvel is a lighter, less real form of superhero story. But, they went straight to Homelander adjacent territory, and I mean, we already have that. So yes, for Marvel, this might be a bit of a jaunt into uncharted territories. It's not quite the novel approach that I will have been talking about. Remember, future video. Highly recommend you check it out. I really enjoyed this movie. I'll be revisiting it for sure, and if you'd like, I can do a deep dive at a later date. I don't have a hard and fast rule regarding how I rate films. Basically, the strongest metric I apply is a simple question of whether or not I was entertained. If so, then I can give it a pass. I grade on a curve, basically. I love movies and I love stories. I'm not going to be that angry reviewer unless the film just bores me or pisses me off. The other metric is a bit more nebulous, and it takes a while before I can properly apply it. Let me ask you this. Have you ever watched a movie that you couldn't get out of your head for several days or weeks even? Like, something about the themes, the characters, the story, they keep sort of bubbling up into your mind throughout your everyday routines. Whether it was how they made you feel or you miss being immersed in that world, something lingers with you. If a film manages to do that, I can say that I personally felt an impact from that film, and I can give it my personal seal of approval. Those are my 2 thumbs up. For this film, in the days after watching it as I write this review, I do find myself thinking about it, but it's still too soon to tell. I can at least give it 1 thumbs up.
I love that guy.
I'll let you know later if I feel like it deserves 2. But in the meantime, keep an eye out for my new video and go check out one of my other videos. And if it's still possible, go see Thunderbolts *. I mean, what's that about? Did they need to cite something? Is there some ingredient that can be substituted?